It's time to get a little less serious about wrestling. This is the Alternate Commentary Table with lifelong friends.
Notice your difference in size.
And lifelong wrestling fans.
Each is a very capable performer, and each is a little too clever to give the other boy much of an advantage.
Mitch Hontzias.
Credits himself with a lot of power.
And Dimitri Karollis.
So that he got all that power from drinking raw olive oil all through his youth.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all sizes and ages and all that fun stuff, welcome to the ACT. Your host, it's Mitch. I'm here once again. Ding, ding, ding. I'm here. But ladies and gentlemen, I decided to, look, when Dimitri's gone, I had to go into the GWO pool of excellence. And I had to go get the one, the only, the enforcer. Everybody put your hands together for South Carolina, George. Welcome, buddy.
And I just want to say, Mitch and Dimitri over at Greece, I acknowledge you two.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. There's only really one you have to acknowledge, but that's besides the point. George, great to have you on the show, buddy. You know, we've been wanting to do this for a little while. I know Dimitri's jealous as crazy right now because two things. Number one, he loves doing the show. Secondly, he loves you. He thinks he loves you more than he loves me, but I know the difference. Point is he would have loved to be here. And we got to do one where all three of us are on it together sooner than later. Thank you for joining, buddy. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, where you guys kind of worry sometimes that I don't talk enough AEW, we got our AEW insider. I mean, this guy is I would say from day one-ish, you were AEW guy all day and every day.
Oh, yeah, literally from day one. In fact, how I got into AEW was I was a big New Japan fan. And so Kenny Omega is actually the guy, like Mitch, I've never stopped loving wrestling.
Yeah.
But there was a point where it waned when WWE especially, it was just a monopoly and it was just them and there was no competition. And I wasn't really a fan in those days. I followed it. And then when I found New Japan, when I heard about Kenny Omega, he's the person that really brought me back into the love of it. So when I knew he and the Bucks and Cody were going to form AEW, I was from day one, and I've enjoyed it ever since. It hasn't been perfect, of course, but I definitely enjoy AEW.
Absolutely, and he's wearing, for all those that, unfortunately, sooner than later, Dimitri and I have talked about, we're going to do a video, but he's wearing an Omega shirt right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is how big a fan. Behind him is the AEW banner. This is George, live and in person, the enforcer of the GWO, with us today on the show. George, listen, man, we got to talk about, it's a week over now, but SummerSlam came and went last week. Hey, listen, not me. The owner, the man, the myth, the legend, Daddy even called me out saying, Mitch Hontzias is a heater. I don't know. I think I missed one or two, and it was those stupid 6 tag team match where I had a 5-1 chance of winning. These guys somehow still won. We'll get to that in a second. But George, obviously you watched SummerSlam. I watched it. I actually enjoyed it. For what it was and for what everything is, I thought it was great. Great endings. I mean, maybe the pages as we turn to get to the end of both nights were sometimes a little flat, but overall, come on, not bad.
I will say it was good. For me, night 2 salvaged it. I wasn't a big fan of night 1. I will say the ending of night 1 was fantastic. And Mike brought it up on McGuire and Wrestling. Sometimes you can have a mediocre show and then a fantastic ending, and that salvages the whole thing. And in night 1, that was definitely the case. Night 2, from start to finish, I thought was a lot better. And I'm going to say this. I've never been the biggest Cena fan, but I have the utmost respect for the guy. And he had, if that wasn't the greatest Cena match he's ever had, it was top 3. The match he had with Cody was fantastic. He turned back the clock, and it made me think, when he became a heel, was he purposely phoning it in because he was a heel? Because the guy can still go at that age.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's been saying it. The internet has been saying it. We here on the ACT and Celebrate Wrestling have been saying it. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cena's back, and he's ready to go. But let me ask you this then. Let's get into that. Which one caught your eye more? The John Cena, Cody Rhodes getting his belt back, which unfortunately I called. I can't believe it. Or the Seth Rollins turn. We're going to talk about both either which way, but which one caught your eye more, my friend?
Honestly, this is a cop-out answer, but both, and I'll tell you why. Because the Seth Rollins thing, let's be honest, for people who are in the know, we knew that was going to happen, right? Like, we knew the whole time the injury was likely not legitimate, but I will say it was well done. And being that I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan, I love seeing the guy cry only to hold the title for 5 minutes. So that for me is a yay.
Yeah.
Okay. And but then night 2, I didn't expect the match that they were going to have. And I'm a work rate guy too. As much as I understand what the entity of pro wrestling is, Mitch, it is entertainment, whether you like it or not. And I get how important that is. But I'm a match guy. And to see those two have that banger of a match go 30 plus minutes and to deliver that performance, that for me on a personal level really stuck. Yeah. And the ending was, I don't want to talk about the controversy here. Let other shows do that. The ending with Brock Lesnar coming out, nobody knew about it. And in this day and age, when you can pull out a legitimate surprise, and WWE did do that because no one saw Brock Lesnar coming, that was fantastic too. So they really bookend nights 1 and 2 to perfection, pretty much.
I agree. I mean, when I saw the end of night 1 where Seth came out, I thought brilliant. And then you got Michael Cole. We all got to give the guy some props and some love. Where he's like, he still has till June and blah blah blah, kind of reminding the fans that are listening. And then when he turned his back, I'll be honest, I didn't think he was gonna. I actually did think he was hurt. I'll be quite honest. I mean, I thought too many weeks went by now where I'm like, oh, he's for sure hurt. I mean, why would they do this, whatever? French kiss, man. Like, he even had his daughter in on the reels, buddy. Like, that's why I fell for it. He had everybody fell for it. I don't care but I figured it out like 2 seconds before it happened where Paul Heyman wasn't going back with him. That's when I was like, oh my God, he's going to throw the crutches down. Came down, and look, I agree. I'm not the biggest CM Punk guy, but I got to give some credit where credit is due, George, where here's a guy that came back from AEW, came back from just wrestling in general. AEW, biggest pop of all time. Still to this day, I think it's maybe the biggest pop I've heard. And then leaves on a bad note in AEW, comes back to WWE, and since he's been there, tore his tricep, where probably they wanted to give him the belt in that WrestleMania, didn't work out or whatever happened. And then he gets the belt for a second, gets his WrestleMania main event, and then whatever, and then on top of it, gets the belt for, to your point, 5 minutes, and to lose it, he's doing the things he's supposed to be doing, unlike another guy like, Goldberg, argument's sake, right? You know what I'm saying? He gets it.
Very true.
Yeah.
I'll credit CM Punk for that. He's playing ball, so to speak. Apparently his attitude's much better there. He's cooperating. He is putting guys over. I'll give the guy credit where credit's due. You know what I mean? So good, good on him for doing that. And let's be honest, I think before his career set is done, he's going to have a legitimate reign with that title. I really believe he will. I think they'll give him that. So
yeah, I do too. I mean, I said it last week on this show. Bret Hart kind of said he thinks he's the best wrestler in wrestling today. I think it's kind of to be the best, you got to be the best at everything. Like, he's a great in-ring performer, but he's also getting it now. Like, I don't know how much it does seem, and maybe you do know a lot of stuff. Is this thing with him and Seth, from your point of view and from all the information you have, do they actually hate each other?
From everything that I gather, Mitch, it's legitimate hate.
Really?
And it's more Seth hates him.
Yeah.
I think CM Punk is ready to move on, but Seth, I've seen many things where Seth is basically like, I can never forgive this guy for what happened. So if it's untrue and they're actually like friends backstage, then Seth's doing a masterful job of keeping kayfabe, so to speak.
Yeah.
But from my gut feeling is that Seth legitimately doesn't like the guy. But give the two credit. If that's the case and they're able to work with each other, the one thing I always say, going back to AEW, was one of the biggest things that really hurt AEW's trajectory was, I understand they had legitimate heat with everything that happened, and you can blame whoever you want. We're not going to get into that. But at that point, they had to have found a way to turn that into an angle. If Kenny Omega would have fought CM Punk, that would have done amazing numbers. If CM Punk would have feuded with the Elite, that would have done amazing numbers. Sometimes you have to take real-life heat and turn it, you got to make money. You got to turn it into money. Say what you want about Brett and Shawn. They legitimately hated each other for years, but they worked with each other. They were pros until Survivor Series happened, and that was Vince McMahon, right?
Well, that was
they worked with each other, and you can say whatever you want. If that's not the best feud in wrestling history, it's top 3. And I remember you and Dimitri actually did I believe in Maga Malaka in an alternate scenario about the best feuds on this very show.
That's right.
And I believe you had it number 2 or number 1 with Hogan and Andre. So that tells you everything you need to know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Speaking of feuds, let's get to night 2. So John Cena the night before, thanks Cody for making me good again, comes out and listen. It's funny because if you listen to the show, let's say you just listen to the show and you hear me talk about John Cena, you would probably say a couple of things. Mitch likes the heel and the heel characters, and Mitch also loves John Cena. So when John Cena became heel, all of a sudden, now I'm getting my cake and eat it too. But I'm here to tell everyone, I've loved John Cena for whatever reason, and I can't even tell you guys why. It's mostly the music, I guess, or the pop that he brings. But, buddy, when he came out to his old music and the pop, that's the John Cena I love. Don't get me wrong. I like the heel turn, but maybe I don't, because this is where we're going to go at it. So they have that epic match. You said it beautifully. We don't need to repeat it. Cody gets the belt. It kind of makes sense. Fine. Give him the belt back. Give the baby its bottle. Let's move on. We'll deal with him and Mama Rhodes in a minute. But in all honesty, when Brock came out, first off, holy cow, like, where did this come from? And then yesterday, watching a little bit of SmackDown, Are we supposed to pretend in 2 weeks that A, he's turned good guy again and that he was never a heel, and B, what about Brock? Like, he didn't bring up, he brought him up, but didn't bring him. Like, he brought him up going, you want some, come get some, leaving it open, and Brock will probably show up on some SmackDown and Raws or whatever. But I felt like you didn't really address that right away. I think that's a little weird, no?
I did too, and I found it weird that they all of a sudden just went into a Logan Paul program, and that's the next match of the pay-per-view. Yeah, but here's the thing with Brock. Brock does what Brock wants, and he's working on his schedule, and I'm guessing they're saving that one for a bigger event. Not to say that Clash in Paris won't be a big event, but it's not one of the big 4 or 5, right? It's not WrestleMania. It's not SummerSlam. It's not Survivor Series, right? And Survivor Series is a big show, and I think that's where you do the big match. I agree with that logic, but look, the WWE and Triple H, they're the master of the big moments. They're the master of the pop. To the point where I think that's what they live for. I think they care more about that pop in that moment more than anything, more than having a good match, more than, that's you've seen this year especially, and we'll talk about it later, but the UnReal series really shows that, and really shows the behind the scenes and the inner workings of how they get to those moments, and how much consternation and argument and how much they sit down. It's like, what can we do to get the most out of this moment? What can we do to get that pop, to surprise the fans, to get the fans talking the next day at the water cooler?
Well, buddy, let's get right into it. I mean, and by the way, your verbiage is beautiful. Great dictionary, lexicon, if you will. In all honesty, Michael Hayes, to me, on that episode of UnReal, is the winner. Like, he kind of, in my humble opinion, was the most truthful. Like, listen, Triple H, it's not like anyone was lying or anything or doing anything sinister. They gave us a behind the scenes look, which I said last week on the show, and now that I've watched it all, by the way, I broke down, I had to watch it all. I'm still on the fence if I wanted to know. I knew, but I didn't know, and now I feel like, now that I've seen it, I don't know. I kind of wish I never watched it. I'll be honest. I wish they never made it for me to be able to watch it. But Michael Hayes said exactly what I feel all fans think, maybe sometimes forget. It is all about the pop. We've said it on the show a few times. You've said it. Mike said it. Everybody said it. But it's true. That's what they're looking to do. And I think that's why I love SummerSlam this year. Not because the matches were, like, look, John Cena, great. Even the tag team match, I mean, that was crazy. The amount of bumps. And it wasn't even the guys, it was all their lady friends that came out to help out. They were taking the bigger major bumps. The long and short, there was a lot of great matches. Actually, we should come back and talk about the Gunther one in a minute. But the reality is, overall, Michael Hayes said it best. It's all about the pop and trying to surprise you guys. And when they made those surprise, you see them high-fiving. Like, that's like a goal to them. They're like high-fiving each other. We got him. We tricked them. To your point, Matt, this is what wrestling's all about. It's about the entertainment. It's not about the actual wrestling.
It is, and I'll say this: the old school fan in me hates it, hates the concept, hates the reveal. It's like when you go to see a magician, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to know how they do everything, Mitch. You want to be like you want to be impressed. You want to think it's real. Like the 6-year-old in me. The 6-year-old in me who remembers watching Saturday Night's Main Event in February of '88 when they ripped off Hogan and the plastic surgery, brother. Like, I believed it. I thought Ted DiBiase got someone to clone, Hebner. That feeling is something that I know we'll never get back as we're older now and we understand the business. But from the other end, I get it, and it was interesting, and there was parts of it I did enjoy. Parts of it did come off as ingenuine to me, but then other parts came off real. I thought Rhea Ripley came off amazing. I think she's an amazing human being. Believe it or not, and I hate to say it, but I thought Cody came off amazing.
Hey, you watch your mouth on this show, okay?
Hey, we're going to get back to him. It's not all, peanut butter and jelly with this guy and his family. But, and I thought Michael Hayes came off great. I thought just the explanation of how he comes up with his ideas. On the flip side, I thought Bruce Pritchard came off as awful. The guy comes off as a you-know-what. I remember we got to watch our language on the show, but he comes off as a not-too-good person. And that part where he's just chastising Chris Park and making Chris Park feel bad about them going over time, it's like, dude, those Rollins and Punk are in the ring performing the match.
Yeah, I agree.
Short of you going there and physically making them end the match, what is the producer supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard sitting there, I don't know. Bruce Pritchard came off as a heel, and maybe that's the way he wanted to.
Maybe that's what he wants.
But I thought the show was really good. There's things I enjoyed about it. There's things I didn't enjoy about it. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice insight. It was cool to see some of the things, some of the inner workings that, like, you and me would know a lot of it, but then there's some things I actually learned myself that I didn't know. So that was interesting in itself.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What did you think, speaking of UnReal, like staying on it for a second, because they were talking, I mean, the show is based on the, let's call it the WrestleMania or lead up to at least WrestleMania is the main point. The Jey Uso push, in hindsight now that you see behind the scenes, dude, I feel like Jey earned it, but can I be honest and say he wasn't ready for it? He truly wasn't ready for it.
100% he wasn't. And that's actually kind of the part of the show I don't like, because from the human side, I feel for the human being who portrays Jey Uso. It's a difficult spot to be put in. Now, saying that, it's a difficult spot to be put in, right? I mean, you do need to earn it, but he wasn't ready. Look, and this where I appreciate a guy like Roman Reigns. There's only one Roman Reigns, right? Like, there isn't a lot of people you can put in that role and can succeed. That's why when you get to the top of the mountain, it's so difficult to stay there. There's only one Roman Reigns, right? There's only one Hulk Hogan. There's only one Bret Hart. There's a reason for this. If anybody could do it, then you could just slap the title on anyone and say, run with it. But that's not the way it works in this business. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, staying on it for a couple more seconds. The thought, like I said it last week, I thought it was going to happen. So I kind of got it right, but I was right where CM Punk beat Gunther, but now what do you do with Gunther? Like, I know he's going to be off for a few weeks, this, that. But here's a guy that, and a lot of people think I'm joking, but I'm not, but I am. Like, in the last little while, guys, he fought Goldberg, to end his career and to, send off farewell match. He fought Pat McAfee, and now he got his belt back from Jey Uso, only to lose it again to now CM Punk. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Gunther is a big name. Do I find all his matches exciting? No. Do I think his promo's getting better? Yes. But where do we go forward with a Gunther? What are your thoughts on the Gunther going forward? Mitch, my honest answer is I don't know, because he feels really cold right now. And I don't even blame him. The way they've booked him has really cooled him off. He was like a really, really hot cup of boiling coffee, and then what you did is you threw about 3 or 4 ice cubes in that thing. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, Gunther now has the label of being a transitional champion, because they literally put that belt on him, took it off Jey Uso, just so that he could pass it on to CM Punk, for them to pass it on to Seth Rollins, who, by the way, does deserve that title. Seth Rollins has done great work, and when you align someone with Paul Heyman, that's the ultimate rub. there is no better person in the industry right now that you can have that can elevate you than one Paul Heyman, right? So, but unfortunately, Jey Uso was a victim of that. Gunther was more a victim of that because Gunther was red hot. And I mean, he went, how long did he go without losing a match, right? He had a brand new record for being the longest tenured intercontinental champion, defeating the honky tonk man in that respect. And so, but all of a sudden, and the way he lost at WrestleMania 2, I was surprised they had him tap out. A beast. The way they built him up, undefeatable, such a monster. I can see if he got pinned. Anybody can fall for the 1, 2, 3 now and again, but for him tapping out, I think that kind of denigrated him in a way and his aura. And now the way that he's been booked the last 3 months, he's gone cold. So let's see. He has an injury he's dealing with. He's going to be away for a little while. But I'm curious to see how he comes back. If he comes back, they got to book him like a monster again because this guy is part of the future of this company, in my opinion. You know, him, he's Braun Breaker, for example, Bronson Reed. On the women's side, Rhea Ripley. These are the people who I think need to carry this company in the future because the guys that are there right now, no disrespect to them, but they're all in their 40s. Eventually, they've got a limited amount of time left. So you gotta ready the troops for the next run.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Well said. I think I said it myself, and I like hearing it from you because we didn't talk about this, but I do feel exactly what you just said about Gunther, and especially about how he lost his matches. Here's a guy that got choked out by Jey Uso. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any, you can't be choked out and be this guy. He can choke you out because that's his thing. He shouldn't be getting choked out. To your point, if he had been pinned, I don't think I have these kind of thoughts in my head, but it's the way they're making him lose too. It's just, it's losing its luster with me. Speaking of the Ripley, you're absolutely right. She came across, and I really do think she is the superstar when it comes to the women's division. No Charlotte Flair, no Alexa Bliss, no Bianca Belair. We're talking about Rhea Ripley here. She is going to be and here's the thing. It's almost like, George, it's the weirdest thing where she's almost too big. Because if you give her the belt, then you can't take the belt off her for a long time until somebody of that caliber comes back up. So it's like she's handcuffed her own success by being so big. So weird to me.
Yeah, it's true. But the thing is, it's not her fault. I mean, when you got it, you got it. And another thing I did like about that series, she was openly able to show how vulnerable she is and the anxiety she suffers from. And look, for me personally, I wouldn't want to put myself in that position. I wouldn't want people to know that. That's just me. But for her to be so open with that, and to see that human side makes me love her and respect her more, and then makes me want to cheer for her more because it's not easy. Everybody's different. Some people just have it. Like, for example, Hulk Hogan, the guy, for better or for worse, was Hulk Hogan 24/7. He was that guy. He had that. He exuded that confidence. Mm-hmm. And then you see Rhea Ripley. You see how the character Rhea Ripley is this one thing, and then the person, Demi, is someone completely different. And for her to be able to just, when the lights come on and that badass music hits and she stomps that foot, for her to snap the fingers or turn it on, I find that cool. I think that's awesome. I think that is not easy to do, and not anybody can do that. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. Let's talk a little bit about, actually real quick before we get to Monday Night Raw, George, what did you think of the Jelly Roll match? Like, here's my thing, okay? Not bad, better than I expected from the bumps the guy took. Like, hey, Matt, listen, I've said this once and I'll say it a few times. I may not understand why Logan Paul and John Cena are going to match up against each other right now, but damn, man, is Logan Paul not a talented dude? Again, I'll say it. And then that's what do you want to call it? The splash that he went from the top on top of Jelly Roll. I got to hand it to Jelly Roll for taking the bump, but man, I know they're trying to get people to we're taking this serious, but I don't think they have to almost kill themselves to get that point across. Do you? I don't know.
No, I don't. And I'll say this, Mitch, straight up. One of the reasons why I'm more of an AEW guy and more of a New Japan guy and less a WWE guy, the whole celebrity thing is, for me personally, it's a turnoff. Mm-hmm. From the other end, it's a business, and I get why they do it. Like, they should do it, right? I get it. It's just not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. In saying that, Jelly Roll did exceed my expectations. There's no way in hell you would get me to take a bump like that, lie on a table, and have this freak of a man fly off what looked like 30 feet and do a frog splash through a table. There's no way Jelly Roll wasn't legitimately hurt from that. And for him to continue the match, kudos to him. And for him to take the pinfall, to be honest. But a lot of these celebrities haven't done it for me. The one exception was I thought Bad Bunny was amazing. I honestly think he's the best celebrity to ever do it. I really do. He went in there. He was amazing right off the bat. He got a huge pop in Puerto Rico. Like, Bad Bunny's the exception. And I want to say Logan Paul's the exception, but not because he actually works for the company now. And while I dislike the human being very, very much, what an amazing, like, he took to wrestling like unbelievably, like,
yeah, it's like he was made for it, man. He was
have to give him props.
Yeah, he was like boxing before, and he gets that Mayweather thing, and I mean, he did, you know, look, he stood in the ring with Mayweather, whatever, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's still impressive. But wrestling is his thing. It's his thing, man. You know, the
guy is such an unbelievable athlete. Both the Ball brothers, they're great athletes. They're talented. So
well, listen,
if
you and me had millions of dollars, George, and we got to train all day and hang out in Puerto Rico and do YouTube videos, I bet you we could hang in the ring. We could do it. We have the base. Don't you remember back in the day? We would pull out the mattress from the bed and do pile drivers, which are unsanctioned in the Validi's house. They're unsanctioned.
Not in our homes.
If you guys could see some of the matches George and I and our brothers pulled off, I mean, you're talking Young Bucks material. Okay, this is what it was.
Terrible. I remember grabbing some box crates. We used to get tomatoes in the restaurant, stacking them up, power bombing my brother through them. My dad and mom were too happy about that.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Look where we've gone now, George. Now who's laughing? All right, let's talk about SmackDown real quick. Buddy, can I just say one thing? Okay, watch this, okay? Ding, 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 ding. Hogan got his 10-bell salute. Nikki Bella got a 5-ring salute. Becky Lynch absolutely 100% destroyed her on national TV, and I'm not sure who to be more impressed with, Becky Lynch and that material, or Nikki Bella not fainting from just sheer like scare and like just everything, just fainting from that call.
Becky Lynch might as well have pulled out a flamethrower, torched Nikki, and not even pee on her to put her out.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I mean, whoo.
That was bad.
Nikki, you got some work to do, girl.
Yeah.
This isn't the Divas era anymore.
No.
This stuff is over.
Can I also say, with that being said, so Becky says those things to Nikki, crushes her, but then in going back to the Unreal, doing a quick U-turn, going back into the Unreal series on Netflix, it was kind of shown who was in the wrong and who was in the right in that whole Charlotte Flair and Tiffany situation. And when you got Hunter, who turned into dad mode and said, hey, who went off script there? It was Tiffany. Get her to apologize right now. These ladies seem to have to go to that next level to get that pop that they want and need from the crowd. But what are your thoughts on it? Are they going a little offside, like even Becky? Or are you like, for me, it was offside, but damn, I have to admit it was entertaining. Like, I'm sorry. It's bad I say that, and that's probably what they want, George. But at the same time, I don't know if we really want to go. It's on that brink of a little too much.
Yeah, so the difference between the Becky, Nikki promo and the Tiffany and Charlotte promo, to me, the Tiffany one was immature, very uncalled for, and Charlotte didn't see that coming. And that's what I don't like about that. When you go off script to the point where it looks like it's off script, then it stops becoming entertaining to me, right? It starts becoming like the Kardashians. And if I want to watch the Kardashians, I'll watch the Kardashians. That's not why I watch WWE. That's not why I watch AEW, for example, right? The Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch thing seemed more like, yes, it was cold-blooded, but at the end of the day, I don't think Nikki went back there and wanted to choke her out. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe when they do Unreal Season 2, we'll know more. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's just one was a lot worse than the other, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, speaking of, situations, Roman Reigns, how many pairs of shoes do you think he has? Like, he's going through a lot right now, man.
Can I please say something that had to have been organic? I don't think there's any way, like, the writers were backstage and saying, oh, let's give him this new gimmick where he steals Roman's shoes.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that he just did that on a whim, and now it's become his gimmick. Those are the things that I love about wrestling. When you do something off the cuff and then it becomes amazing. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin never planned to say the 316 promo and then that become the biggest thing ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. And I really believe that him stealing the shoes was just off the cuff, or someone told him, hey, take his shoes. The fact that we're talking about this guy being the tribal thief, and every time Roman goes in the ring, he knocks his ass out and then takes his shoes, I think is unbelievable. I love it.
Oh, I love it too. I think it's great. Well said. You're right. Look, we saw what the writers do and how they create and all that. No one came up with that. Let's be honest. No one came up with that.
And I'll tell you now, my follow-up, if I were a writer, the next time Roman shows up, he needs to come either barefoot or with cheap sandals from Walmart.
That's exactly. Now, here's a good point to you and me making our point about what the writers are doing. Look, the writers are doing a good job, don't get me wrong. But here's where maybe it's a little iffy. 3 Grande Americanos, I don't get it. Why? What are we doing here? Like, I don't get it.
I don't. I will say, though, they missed the boat last night being in Montreal. They should have brought out a Grande Americano, but called him Grande Canadiano.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. See?
In French, that would have been great.
See, they're not thinking, George. They're not thinking. Exactly.
Well, that's why you and me are here, man.
That's exactly it, buddy. That's it.
When you and Dimitri, and I'll reference past shows because I am an avid listener, when you guys do your predictions or you talk about things, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your guys' butts, because I text you, I talk to you guys off air. Some of the ideas you guys come up with, in my opinion, are better than what they come up with. Not discounting the writers, they're good at what they do, and they have hits and misses. But some of the things you guys come up with, I honestly want to call up Titan Towers and be like, listen, do this instead. This will come off so much better on TV. It just goes to show there's a creative genius in all of us, and especially you and Dimitri. I got to give you guys props for that.
Stop it. You had me at hello, you son of a gun. You had me at hello. All right, let's go over to your favorite side of the ring, and that's the AEW side. Listen, what they're doing with Young Bucks right now is pure magic, man. First off, that match with Bandito and Brody King, dude, that was an excellent tag match, man. What is see, this is the thing with AEW, George, and I'll ask you this question in a second, but AEW right now is doing everything they can to be number one, and in a lot of ways they should be number one, but they can't go against this juggernaut, and I'll let Mike and Meltzer tomorrow talk about it. But with now the new news coming out that ESPN has joined in, and a guy like you down in South Carolina, you're gonna be paying to watch some wrestling in about a year's time now. The point is Bubba Ray brought this up on his podcast. I saw a clip of it. What does AEW gotta do to stay relevant? Because here's the thing. If they're not going to go on Netflix and they're not going to be on ESPN, how do you even compete, buddy? How?
You don't. Mitch, AEW needs to be AEW. They need to focus on themselves. Through the history of pro wrestling, the biggest mistake wrestling companies have done since 1984, when Vince McMahon took this thing national and made it the juggernaut that it is trying to overtake and in essence become WWE. When you try to copy someone, 10 out of 10 times you're going to fail. It's like the NFL. No one is ever going to beat the NFL. It will not happen. So do your own thing. Cater to your audience. One thing I hated about AEW for a while there, about 2-3 years ago, they kept acknowledging WWE on their TV. They kept referencing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're literally big brothering yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't. You are who you are. Focus on your strengths and try limit your weaknesses. WWE has weaknesses too, but do you know why they're number one? Because they focus so heavily on their strengths, and they are so good at their strengths that they are far and away better at what they do than anybody, including AEW, including CMLL, including TNA, including New Japan. And so that's why you just have to focus. The only way I see AEW ever becoming, even having a sniff at being number one, is if something so controversial happens in WWE that it sinks the company. Aside from that happening, money talks, buddy. And it's just, WWE is going to be where they're at for a long time, if not forever. So if you're AEW, focus on being at AEW. Focus on your in-ring. In-ring, nobody has a better roster than AEW. I'll put that up against anybody. In-ring, nobody can do those matches. Pay-per-views, nobody does pay-per-view like AEW. Focus on that. Cater to your audience. Just like WWE needs to cater to their audience. No one does the big moments like them. No one does the fireworks, the spectacle, the entertainment. So don't try to match that because you won't. You will never match it. Right. Be who you are.
You know, I do agree with everything you're saying. The only thing I would say to you, George, is that it's kind of like, let's use our pizza references. This is where we come from. It's like Pizza Hut opened up across the street from you, and you've been around 50 years. Everyone knows of, your George and Mitch's Pizza and Dimitri's Pizza or whatever. But if we don't go and skip the dish, buddy, we're done for, right? Like, you got to kind of play a little bit. I totally agree. You got to stick to your fundamentals and everything. But at the end of the day, man, if they don't like, how about this? They know they're never going to beat WWE from a variety of different ways, right? But if you don't try, then you are going to be forgotten. You're gonna be left behind, because the thing is, the fans right now, Matt, and this is where WWE's being mean. I'll be honest with you, they're being a little mean. They already got the Netflix gig, right? They now have the ESPN gig. I mean, who do you guys think, like, how much more do you guys want? Do you know what I mean? I know you want 100% of the market share. I get that, but realistically, you're not going to get that. And the reality is, you could be turning people off. You know what I mean? They could very simply be, and then people don't maybe know about AEW. In a weird way, WWE should be like, yeah, there is a TNA, yeah, there's a NXT, and yes, there is an AEW, because you kind of want the people to be at least interested in wrestling. You know what I mean? And if they're not interested in WWE, okay, yeah, that hurts you. But at the same time, is it better to not get them interested at all? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And you're right, and that's not exactly what I'm saying. Of course they need to try. I'm not saying don't try to be number one. Of course, try. But know your competition, know your limits too, right? Know what you're up against. You're right. Yes, of course they should try. Of course they should expand their horizons, their social media. When their deal with Warner Brothers is up in about a year and a half, they're going to have to try renew. And if they don't, they're going to have to get a better TV deal, or they will be in trouble. Yeah. In saying that, WWE's already locked into Netflix for 5 years, right? They're locked in to ESPN for the next 5+ years. Like, that's set and done. WWE could put out the worst shows 5 years in a row, and they won't take a financial hit because their money's already there.
Well, let's call it what it is. They're not throwing out horrible shows, but let's say they're not exactly giving us the AAA quality beef either. You know what I mean? And this is what I worry about.
It's not as good as when the Bloodline story was going on. They were at their peak.
Yeah,
and I'm saying, you can't expect home runs all the time. And saying that, and it's awesome that you mentioned about WWE's. They are the bully. I mean, they're literally putting up shows against AEW pay-per-view. And why are they doing that? They want to put AEW out of business.
Oh, 100%.
They're trying to.
Yeah.
They're trying to crush the competition. They want to own everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to travel back to 2001, and they want to be able to buy AEW and own it, just like they did WCW. Let me ask you this question, Mitch. Triple H. What is Triple H to Vince McMahon?
His father-in-law.
Exactly. Where did he learn everything from?
Yeah, good point. The father-in-law.
Okay.
I mean, who's not listening to their father-in-law?
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Is he not?
Yeah, he is. He is trying to do that. Yeah, he is definitely trying. If he's not doing it on purpose, he's doing it. Let's just say that.
Oh, he's doing it on purpose. Yeah. I mean, come on. He is doing it on purpose.
I'm just saying.
I'm not criticizing.
No.
He is doing it on purpose.
Dude, business is business. I'm all about, I get it. Like, but I just look at it from a guy, like, this is a niche market, right? Like me, you, we live in this world. Mike, the rest of the guys, we all live in this world. GW Joe, we live in this world. Tips McGee / Dimitri, we live in this world, right? But the world isn't as big as we think, and so they got to be careful not to, like, make us bored of this world. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm saying. Hey, look, I like ordering pizza from Mitch, Dimitri, and George's place, but I'll try Domino's one night. I'll try another place just to see what's out there. Do you know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah, man. Look, Domino's and Pizza Hut will always be the big chains. But nothing's going to be better than Sinatra's Pizza.
There it is. Sinatra, home of the flop. That's right. George, one last question I got for you in AEW. What's your thoughts on this whole MJF? It's over. It started. Now it's over. Wait a minute. Isn't that the same thing? And anyways, what are your thoughts on the MJF?
It's abrupt, Mitch. Something's going on behind the scenes. It's abrupt.
Oh, really?
I don't understand how they went to all that trouble and did that great lead up, weeks after weeks of the thumbs down, and they finally accept him. All of a sudden, we're sick and tired of you. And it's not like there was even an angle done in the ring. Like, for example, I could see if he would have cost him the titles at the pay-per-view. Like, say he goes to hit someone, he hits Bobby Lashley, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're out because you messed us over. He didn't do that. So, like, why all of a sudden don't they like him?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't like. It actually is funny. It's not the same thing, but it reminds me of, like, how much of an abject failure the John Cena heel turn was. The actual turn was magnificent, Toronto, but after that, it was a bomb.
A bomb.
They literally acknowledge it, and they're like, they just flipped the switch, and without any real good explanation, it's like, oh, I'm a good guy today. It's like, all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton hate this guy for no reason?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do?
It's a good point, man. And again, it's funny because I literally thought the exact same thing, and we never talked about it. So if me and you are thinking about it, that means a lot of people are thinking about it the same way. Yeah, very weird. Listen, George, I love you, buddy. We got to go sooner than later. But before we do that, you know what's going on. It's time for the alternate scenario.
Let's do it.
Ew. Dimitri does it all the time. I don't know. It's like kind of caught on in my head. That's like I do it. Okay, so I was, I perused the nets, and I saw this thing where Paul Heyman was on I think he was on the Ariel show. Yeah, that's right. And they brought up the KARRION KROSS situation. Ariel goes, hey, listen, what's going to happen with KARRION? Like, give me some insight. And by the way, for all you guys, Mike just had the interview with KARRION. I don't know what they was said. All I know is there's a clip that Mike has been showing us, and they are laughing. They are enjoying each other's time. Ladies and gentlemen, the daddy's done it again. But with that being said, Paul Heyman said something that I thought to myself, we better bring this up. He is basically comparing the rise of KARRION KROSS to that of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Do you agree? Disagree? I'll tag you in.
Yes and no, not to that extent, but yes, he's getting over organic. I would actually compare it more to Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan in WWE, where the fans are clamoring for this guy. They love this guy, and WWE is basically saying, nope, you can have what you want. I personally think it's a mistake. Let's see if he gets re-signed. To my knowledge, he hasn't signed a contract yet, so I hope they do re-sign him. I'm personally a big fan, and I think this guy can get over like Rover, and I think he has the potential to be a big star. Remember how you brought up CM Punk and saying like he's, overall one of the best? KARRION KROSS has it all, man. He has the mic skills. He has the look. He can go in the ring. I think it would be a big mistake not to push this guy, but at the end of the day, it's up to the big honchos.
Yeah, absolutely. I got another question for you. It sounds like Austin Theory is gone from WWE. I mean, if he is gone, I'm not surprised. I mean, they've basically written this guy off for months. But if he ends up leaving, does he go AEW? Does he hit the indie streak or work at Perkins? I'll tag you in.
You know what? I thought he got a little bit of a raw deal in WWE, and if he is gone, honestly, if I were him, Mitch, I wouldn't go straight to AEW. I would go on the indies. I would hone my craft. I liken it to Drew McIntyre. I remember when they released him the first time, and he was effectively a jobber. He went on the indies. He built himself up, and then he came back as his monster and finally got the push he deserved. I think that's the path that Austin Theory needs to go to. Yeah. I think he needs to go and reinvent himself.
I think you're right. And I mean, think about this, you guys, and I know you guys all know this more than I know it. He fought John Cena and beat John Cena at WrestleMania, wasn't it, George?
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we're talking about him maybe doing the early bird special, taking your order at Perkins. It's crazy. I don't understand what happened here. Last one, and it is about the greatest of all time, and that is that of John Cena. Did this heel turn maybe put an asterisk on his legacy a little bit? I'll tag you in.
No, it didn't put an asterisk on his legacy. It was a bump in the road. It was amazingly executed that night. But we have to understand something too, Mitch. Circumstances beyond his control made it to where it was a failure. You get The Rock and Travis Scott involved, all of a sudden something happens, they're not involved anymore. That killed the angle before it even began. So I don't even blame John Cena. And without those two, he's just not a natural heel, Mitch. I mean, some people got it and some people don't. Look, some people can be as good a heel as they are a face and vice versa. John Cena is not. He is a natural baby face, okay? So, though that 5 months was kind of something I'd like to forget, it's not. No, the guy's legacy will always be as one of the greatest of all time, and much respect to him.
Well, speaking of legacies, there's only one guy I can talk about, and that is the man they call George. George, thank you for joining us today. I love you. I appreciate it. GW Joe for life. We appreciate everything you've done for us, Maga. We will see you sooner than later. By the way, everyone, get to celebrate wrestling. Get to those podcasts. Do everything you need to do, and start celebrating with George. You'll hear more from the GW Enforcer. Everyone else. By the way, Tips McGee and Dimitri, it's funny how neither one of you are texting me. Just saying. All right. Good. Thanks again, George, for all your time, buddy. Appreciate it.
Mitch, thank you for having me on, and thank you for allowing me to celebrate wrestling with you. And in closing, and Mama Rhodes.
That's awesome.